Getting into breaking news right now, US Embassy in Kabul has issued a security alert saying the security situation in Kabul is changing quickly, including at the airport. It said that there are reports of firing at the Kabul airport. In fact, these are the latest images that we are picking up. In fact, we'll also put out the timeline of what's really happening right now in Kabul. A short while ago, there were also images that had come in from the US Embassy, smoke billowing out of the US Embassy, essentially indicating that US Embassy officials were burning out certain documents that were certain reports that were doing the rounds. But that's the latest now coming in with US Embassy issuing a security alert. For more on this, I'm joined by our executive editor, Niranjan, joining us on the phone line. Niranjan, what more are you picking up?
Well, the U.S. Embassy, as per the reports that we're picking up, has said that the situation is rapidly changing, and it's also asked for all its citizens in Kabul to shelter in place. Now, these are details that we're picking up from different media reports. The U.S. Embassy has reportedly also said that the airport is reportedly under fire amid hasty evacuation of Western missions. In fact, I'm just going to read from the U.S. Embassy statement. The U.S. Embassy has issued a statement, and we have the full details with us. The U.S. Embassy has said, and it's a statement issued, from the embassy a few minutes back. I'm just reading it, from what I have. I'm just getting you the details. They have said that Kabul situation is changing, and they have gone on record to say that there is some firing that is taking place at the embassy. And I'm just getting some more details as we speak so that we can give our viewers all the updates. And it can be confirmed now that the U.S. Embassy and has warned its citizens to shelter in place. They're saying take shelter in place. Wherever they are, take shelter in place. U.S. citizens wanting assistance should register for any option that may be identified to return to the United States, must complete repatriation assistance group, and that they must follow all required protocols. But they've gone on record in the first paragraph itself to say that the situation in Kabul is changing quickly, including at the airport. There are reports of the airport taking fire. Therefore, we are instructing U.S. citizens to shelter in place. U.S. citizens are being asked to take shelter in place. That's a breaking news update that's coming in from Kabul. We're tracking the situation very closely. In fact, the press release goes on to say that U.S. citizens wanting assistance in departing the country should register for any option that may be identified to return. That may be identified to return. To the United States, must complete this repatriation assistance request for each traveler in their group. Spouses and minor children of U.S. citizens of U.S. citizens in Afghanistan who are awaiting immigrant visa should also complete the form if they wish to depart. Please do so as soon as possible. You must complete this form even if you have previously submitted your information to the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. Do not call the U.S. Embassy in Kabul for details or updates about the flight. This form is the only way to communicate interest in flight options. Now, that's the security alert that came in from the U.S. Embassy, Shawan. So I'm handing it over to you because, we'll keep getting in as much details as possible. It's a breaking news story. The situation is developing. Handing it back to you for now.
Well, in fact, volatile situation on the ground. We'd also get you more reports of the current situation. Just a quick recap before we move to the other story with regards to what we are picking up from our sources in Kabul. In fact, there are several military outposts that have been taken over by the Taliban. As far as a smooth transition of power is concerned, there are certain reports that are doing the rounds which essentially indicate that there would be no power sharing that is going to take place in Afghanistan. In fact, power being handed over completely to Taliban. That's the latest that we're picking up from the ground. Well, in fact, having claimed just less than 24 hours ago that the Afghan forces will continue its operations, former Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani has also resigned immediately after the Taliban gathered at the gates of the capital city. In fact, there have been also a plane full of people landing in the national capital. Listen in to what some of them had to say after landing in New Delhi.